Good evening, I'm Sonia Kaleselvam and this is KiniNews. The court has granted an acquittal to the late Daim Zainuddin. This was over the charge of his alleged failure to abide by a MACC notice to disclose his assets.
Daim Zainuddin has been discharged and acquitted of an asset disclosure charge following his death last week. The Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court granted the acquittal today despite an application by Deputy Public Prosecutor Wan Shaharuddin Wan Ladin for the case to be withdrawn. During this open court proceedings, Judge Azura Alwi allowed Defence Counsel Gurial Singh Nijar's application for the former Finance Minister to be acquitted. Daim's lawyer initially argued for the criminal court to continue with the case despite prosecutors not wanting to, and that in the alternative, the deceased should be acquitted. Yesterday, Naima Abdul Khalid urged prosecutors to continue the case so that the defense team can help clear her deceased husband's name in court. On Wednesday last week, Daim passed away at Asunta Hospital after being warded in the intensive care unit for a stroke. Daim's criminal charge was over alleged failure to abide by a MACC notice to disclose his assets.
Bersih has given Anwar's government a D grade in its midterm evaluation. Here's more on that.
The poor performance was attributed to the coalition government's failure to carry out significant institutional reforms. In a presentation of what Bersih dubbed the government's report card last night, the group also ranked Anwar behind his predecessors Ismail, Sabri, Yaakob and Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in fulfilling their reform promises. Bersih chairperson Faisal Aziz said their assessment of the government's first 2 years found there were significant gaps between its reform promises and actual implementation. He said the assessment, which combined 2 sections, the fulfillment of manifesto commitments and a comparison with previous administrations, returned, with the Madani government scoring a total of 45.8%. According to the group's rating, where it compared Anwar with the previous 4 prime ministers, Bersih had ranked Najib Abdul Razak at the bottom of the list, while Ismail was given the top mark. Anwar was placed in the middle between Mahathir in second place and Muhyiddin at the second lowest rung. In its justification, Bersih said Ismail and Mahathir in his second tenure as Prime Minister had fulfilled more reform agendas compared to Anwar in his first 2 years in power.
In response to Bersih, an aide to Anwar said there are some statements in Bersih's report which are not reflective of facts and current scenarios.
An aide to Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim derided Bersih for giving the government a D grade in its midterm evaluation. Muhammad Kamil Abdul Munim called it shallow and reckless, saying the evaluation was not based on facts and the country's situation. He told Malisha Keny that he had read Bersih's report related to reforms and changes, and after scrutiny, there are some statements which are not reflective of facts and current scenarios. He said reforms and changes in political, economic and administrative dynamics are still running, and it must also be measured through overall economic indicators and investors' confidence. Thus, he said any evaluation that skips these indicators can be considered as shallow and reckless. Kamil also defended several of the government's unpopular moves, such as the subsidy rationalization for diesel, adding it was needed to strengthen the nation's fiscal position. He said we have seen how aid to the people has been increased, in addition to the formulation of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2023, which requires the government to be prudent, and that is a much-needed reform. In a presentation of what was dubbed the government's report card last night, Bersih chairperson Faisal Aziz said their assessment found there were significant gaps between the government's reform promises and actual implementation. Faisal said the assessment, which included manifesto fulfillment and a comparison with previous administrations, returned with the Madani government scoring 45.8%.
In conjunction with Malisha Keny turning 25 from now to 30 November, you can subscribe or renew your Malisha Keny package with 25% off. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to enjoy this exclusive offer. Moving on, a Home Ministry spokesperson has clarified that no immigration officers were involved in an incident at KLIA's Not to Land area.
A Home Ministry spokesperson said immigration officers were not involved in the incident, showing an official allegedly punching a foreigner at KLIA's Not to Land or NTL area. The spokesperson said no officers from the Immigration Department were involved in this, as they are only tasked with deciding on NTL. The spokesperson told Malisha Keny that if the immigration officer denies a tourist entry into the country, the individual is sent to NTL and from there, they fall under the purview of the airline that brought them here. Elaborating, the spokesperson stressed that an airline must be responsible enough to send back foreigners denied entry into Malaysia. They questioned why tourists were given boarding passes when they have no return tickets. They said previously airlines appointed Monocircle Sendirian Berhad to handle these tourists, including providing them with food and return tickets. However, they said the company no longer manages the NTL area in KLIA, and the airline cannot wash their hands of this. The spokesperson stressed that airlines should take responsibility to provide them with food and return tickets, as this is a standard international practice. Malisha Keny has reached out to the airline for comments. Earlier, Malisha Keny published a story depicting improper conduct by officials manning the NTL space, including punching a foreigner.
According to Transport Minister Anthony Locke, the man in the video was a staff member from Aero Darat. Locke added that he had already been suspended and slapped with a shoe caused later while awaiting a full investigation from the management.
Saya difahamkan dan telah diberikan laporan kaki tangan yang terlibat dalam insiden itu adalah kaki tangan daripada Aero Darat, bukannya daripada MHB. Daripada Aero Darat. Aero Darat ialah ground handler untuk MAG, Malaysia Aviation Group. Jadi staf tersebut ialah staf Aero Darat, bukannya staf MHB, okay? Bukannya staf airport. Jadi beliau menyatakan bahawa kaki tangan itu menyatakan bahawa dia ada provokasi daripada penumpang NTL itu, menyebabkan dia pun ada physical contact dan ada kata-kata yang tidak cantik lah, kata-kata kesat dan sebagainya terhadap. Jadi apa pun keadaan, memang kita tak boleh mempertahankan tindakan kaki tangan itu. At any event, dia mesti bertindak secara profesional. Sebab dia bertindak sebagai seorang kaki tangan di airport kita. Walaupun mungkin kadang-kala kita tahu ada juga penumpang-penumpang yang mungkin dia tidak begitu sopan.
A Sabah assembly person has denied the contents of a video which implicated him in alleged corruption. He also lodged a police report over the matter.
A Sabah assembly person has lodged a police report denying the contents of a video which implicated him in alleged corruption. According to Kota Kinabalu Police Chief Kasim Muda, a report was received from Tempasuk representative Arsad Bistari, who claimed his conversation in the recording was edited. Kasim confirmed that police have received a report denying a video that had gone viral through KiniTv's social media. He said the report was received from Arsad on November 17th against the video, which is of 1 minute and 27-second duration that he received through WhatsApp. He added that the case has been classified under Section 500 of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act. Kasim said the police have recorded a statement from Arsad and are awaiting a report from the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission before proceeding with further action. Malisha Keny had previously received a call from a Kota Kinabalu police officer seeking cooperation from its reporter.
Shafi Abdullah believes that Joe Low could be in Myanmar. He said this during a media town hall event on 1MDB yesterday.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's counsel Mohamad Shafi Abdullah said the Myanmar junta may be protecting fugitive businessperson Low Taek Joe. Mohamad Shafi Abdullah said this was due to the answers he got after cross-examining prosecution witness Jasmine Liu during the 2.27 billion ringgit 1MDB abuse of power and money laundering case against Najib. Shafi said that initially it was said that Liu may have been in China, Dubai or Macau. However, he said from the testimony from Liu, he thinks Liu is in Myanmar and protected by generals. Shafi said Liu was able to get a passport for Jasmine to enter Myanmar without the Malaysian passport passport being stamped. The lawyer was referring to Lu's testimony in April that she got in trouble with the Myanmar military junta when the former 1MDB General Counsel tried to enter the country with an unstamped passport in 2019. Lu was among the 50 prosecution witnesses who testified against Najib in the course of the 1MDB criminal trial that began on August 28, 2019.
That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Sonia Kalaiselvam. Thanks for watching.